call the meeting to order. This is the regular meeting of the Township Council for the month of October 29th, 6:30. So just before I call for approval of the agenda, I want to express regrets from Councillor Smale. She's ill this evening, not able to join us. I also want to acknowledge and welcome two of the councillors-elect, Councillor Cameron, incoming councillor for Ward 1, and Councillor Hunter, incoming councillor for Ward 3. So welcome, gentlemen. Welcome Connor as well, and Glenn. Now also I just want to acknowledge, because I can't let it go unacknowledged, that while we've just completed a rather rigorous, most of us have just completed a rather rigorous election campaign, there is one here with us tonight who's just starting one, and I don't know whether to wish him good luck for the campaign or good souls on his feet. But anyway, best of luck in the upcoming campaign. I know you'll be busy.
Thank you very much.
And so now I'll call for approval of the agenda. Could I have a mover to approve the agenda? Oh, I do. Somebody's got it. It's Councillor Morell.
Yes, moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Barrett that Municipal Council approves the agenda as presented. And I'll pass that over.
Thank you. Motion is on the table. Any other any amendments? Hearing none. Those in favor? Motion is carried. Thank you. And so then moving on to disclosure of pecuniary interest. Does anyone have any disclosures here this evening?
None here.
None declared. And so moving on to item 5 on the agenda is the minutes of the previous council meeting from September 24th. Deputy Mayor Taylor.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Morell, that municipal council receives and approves the minutes of the regular council meeting dated September 24, 2018.
Thank you. The motion is on the table. Any errors or omissions? Hearing none. Those in favor? Motion is carried. And so on item number 6 on the agenda is business arising from the previous council meeting, if any. Does anyone have anything that they'd like to bring up? I have a couple of points, but let somebody else go first. Anyone's got anything? Hearing none. I'm going to go ahead. My first question is with page 3 of 9. And on page 3 of 9, we talked about the Spencerville Legion sewer charges, and that reduction in the rate for the Legion is effective for the 3rd and 4th quarters only, according to the motion that we passed. And then we directed staff to include a cost to perform a rate study. Are we any further along with that project in anticipation that we may get a decision prior to the first bills in September in 2019? Are we actually going to get a third party to perform a rate study? Who are we going to get? Have we got anything organized there?
Not at this stage.
Okay, so are we giving that some priority?
We are.
Okay, thank you. And the other question I had is on page 4 of 9, but it revolves around the Walker Street extension. So I see it's on the CAO's report, and we'll deal with it when we get to the CAO's report. So that's business arising, and so now we'll go to item number 7 on the agenda, which is approval of various committee minutes. And the first is the Port Management Committee meeting of September the 19th. Deputy Mayor Taylor.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Morell, that municipal council receives the minutes of Port Management Committee meeting dated September 19, 2018.
Thank you very much. Those minutes are on the table. Is there any questions? Hearing none. Those in favor? Motion is carried. And the Community Development Committee of October the 1st. And Councillor Morell, I believe you have that one.
Yes, moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Barrett that Municipal Council receives and approves the minutes of the Community Development Committee meeting dated October 1st of 2018.
Thank you very much. A discussion, if any? Questions, if any? Go ahead.
On page 2, it discussed the signs. I'm just wondering how much grant money is available for those?
What was the amount of that grant?
42,000,
Right around 42,000, yeah.
And on page 3 of 4, site plan amendment with HD Petroleum, there's discussion about an amendment being ready for tonight's council meeting. Is that amendment included in the package, or was it something else?
Yep, it's under bylaws, 11A.
Okay, thank you.
11A?
Mhm.
Okay. Does that answer your questions? Okay, so that's questions from those minutes. I'll call the question on the minutes. Those in favor? Motion is carried. Minutes are approved. Be speaking more about Community Development Committee, big meeting of the Community Development, very important meeting of the Community Development Committee coming forward on November the 5th. So now I'm at 7C, which is Committee of the Whole Administration and Finance on October the 9th. Deputy Mayor Taylor.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Morel, that the municipal council receives and approves the minutes of the Committee of the Whole and Administration Finance meeting dated October 9th, 2018.
Motion's on the table. Questions, if any? Hearing none. Those in favor? Motion is carried. Minutes are approved. And moving to 7D, the Committee of the Whole, Public Works, Environmental Services, Councilor Barrett.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Morale, that municipal council receives and approves the minutes of Committee of the Whole, Public Works, Environmental Services, and Facilities meeting dated October 16, 2018.
Thank you very much. Motion's on the floor. Discussion, if any? Hearing none. Those in favor? Motion is carried. And now, we're at item number 8 on the agenda, which is action and information items that are coming forward as recommendations from those various committees. And the first is item 8A, which is the directional signage for Johnstown. Councilor Morel.
Yes, moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Barrett, that municipal council direct staff to include a cost for wayfinding and asset identification signage in Johnstown into the draft 2019 budget for consideration as recommended by the Community Development Committee.
Thank you very much. Discussion, if any? And maybe by way of explanation, I'll just say for the benefit of folks here and the new councilors, the $42,000 grant that we got came to us at a Roma meeting, I think, rather unexpectedly and unannounced by the minister. I can't remember even which minister. Omafra?
I think it was. Yeah.
Right, and it was $42,000, and it was clearly identified as being for signage improvement of signage in the downtown areas.
Main Street revitalization.
Main Street revitalization. And we were obligated to sign a contribution agreement before the cash would flow to us, which we did. And because we only have 2 downtown areas, namely the village of Cardinal and the village of Spencerville, it meant that Johnstown was kind of left out of the signage program. And the intent of this money is to try to find some dollars in the 2019 budget to put similar type of signage in the Johnstown hamlet. So, motion is on the floor. I think, so, did I already call it? Those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried. Thank you. And item number 8B, the holiday season office hours. Councilor Barrett.
Moved by myself and seconded by Councilor Morale, the municipal council confirms the closure of the township office for the full day on Monday, December 24 and Monday, December 31, 2018, as recommended by Committee of the Whole, Administration and Finance.
Thank you very much. Motion is on the floor. Those in favor, please signify. Motion is carried. And again, just by way of explanation, those 2 days, which are the day before Christmas and the day before New Year's, are half-day holidays anyway, and because it's a Monday after a weekend, council decided that the other half-day we would be closed the other half-day, and staff have agreed to use that other half-day as a holiday. So we're at item number 8C, water and sewer charges for 717 Vincent Street. Councilor Barrett.
Moved by myself and seconded by Councilor Morale, that the municipal council direct staff to develop a reasonable payment plan without interest charges for the owner of 717 Benson Street to pay off the bill as recommended by Committee of the Whole, Public Works, Environmental Services and Facilities.
Okay, the motion is on the floor. Discussion, if any. Councilor Morel, you look like you want to say something.
No, well, I'm a little late to the table. I was thinking the holiday hours, I said being a relative of Jacob Marley and Ebenezer Scrooge, I was gonna give them a lump of coal and say, just work on, but, anyway, I voted for the motion, so
And they're all relieved to hear that. Okay, so now we're back to the motion that's on the table here, which is the reasonable payment plan for the owner of 717 Benson Street. Any discussion on that one? Hearing none. About to call a question. Those in favor? And the motion is carried. And just again, by way of explanation, somebody left the tap running, ran the water bill way up, toilet running, ran the bill way up, and the owner seeks us to relieve him of those of that charge, and council has been very consistent over the past 12 years that if you incur the water and sewer charges, you must pay them. And this person has asked for assistance, and we've granted that assistance, provide some time. And 8D, the Connell Municipal Drain, Councillor Barrett.
Moved by myself and seconded by Councilor Morel that municipal council accept the recommendation of the drainage superintendent to perform the necessary work on the Connell drain required under section 76 of the Drainage Act, varying original assessments for maintenance, and direct staff to tender for engineering services to perform the work as recommended by Committee of the Whole, Public Works, Environmental Services, and Facilities.
Okay, and the motion is on the floor, and discussion if any. Hearing none, those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried. Full discussion at the Public Works Committee. Everybody understands what that's all about. And we're at item number 8E, which is abandon the Bagus Brown Municipal Drain. Councilor Morel.
Yes, moved by myself and seconded by Councilor Barrett, that municipal council, 1, direct staff to proceed with the required notice to all owners of the land for the Bagus Brown drainage works as stated in section 84 of the Drainage Act, and 2, direct staff to tender for engineering service if required, and 3, accept the recommendation of the drainage superintendent that the township abandon the existing municipal drain as recommended by a Committee of the Whole, Public Works, Environmental Services, and Facilities.
Okay, and just by way of explanation, most of the engineering work is paperwork, but it is a fair amount of paperwork required to abandon the drain, which has never really been activated. The motion is on the floor. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor? Motion is carried. And item number 8F is motion regarding port investments. Councilor Morel.
Moved by myself and again seconded by Councilor Barrett. The municipal council direct township staff to reinvest all monies due on November 5th, 2018, which is a total of $1,959,266.42 as of September 30th, 2018, under the RBC Dominion Securities portfolio for the Port of Johnstown for 1 year at the best possible rate as recommended by the Port Management Committee.
Thank you very much. A lot of discussion at the Port Management Committee because rates are increasing, and the feeling was we don't want to lock in for a longer period when we're looking at probably 3 more rate changes or 4 more rate changes in the next 12 months. So the motion is on the table. Those in favor, or discussion if any? Hearing none, those in favor? Motion is carried. And so now I'm on item number 9 of the agenda, which is the correspondence packages, and Deputy Mayor Taylor.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Morel, that municipal council receives correspondence listings for the following dates as previously circulated: October 9, 2018, and October 15, 2018.
So correspondence directed to council, mayor, or the mayor and council, or a lot of other kinds of correspondence are compiled in packages. Those packages are circulated to us, and then we approve the circulations and record the various correspondence here at the table. Is there any discussion here? Hearing none, those in favor? Motion is carried, and those 2 packages have been circulated. Any councillor has the right to take the package and sift through it And if there's anything they want to bring forward, they refer that to staff and it comes forward at either a committee meeting or the next council meeting. And so moving to item 10 on the agenda, which is approval of the municipal disbursements. Deputy Mayor Taylor.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Morel, that municipal council approves payment of municipal invoices circulated and dated as follows. Report dated October 2nd, 2018, $283,339.31. Report dated October 16, 2018, $131,001.46. Report dated October 25, 2018, $659,536.56, for a total of $1,073,877.33.
Okay, and the disbursement sheets were circulated to council on the Friday. Everybody has the opportunity to review them, ask any questions on Monday. Anybody have any questions? Hearing none, those in favor? And the motion is carried. And once the motion to approve the disbursement sheets goes through council, the checks are given their final signature and released from the office. So that'll be sometime tomorrow. And so now I'm at item number 11 on the agenda. And item number 11 deals with the bylaws that are coming forward. And the first bylaw, 11A, is the site plan control agreement amendment with HD Petroleum. Councilor Morel.
Yes, moved by myself and seconded by Councilor Barrett that the mover be granted leave to introduce a bylaw to authorize amendment to the site plan control agreement registered as instrument PR 95926 as authorized by bylaw 1983-34, and this shall constitute first and second reading thereof.
Okay, now, questions if any, discussion if any? Would anyone like, I just went live, just for the sake of the folks in the gallery. Okay, do you want to speak to it then?
Well, I don't know about speaking to it, but I just, this is the, I'm assuming this is the petroleum out on County Road 44 was the Husky truck stop, correct? And at one time, there was like 3 different, or 4 different happenings taking place, and everything was supposed to be confined to one site plan, and so that has been fulfilled, I assume, no?
If I may, through the mayor, the proponent was anxious to move forward with 2 of the 4 projects in the short term, and the other 2 of the 4 projects are a longer term venture for him.
Okay.
So this is an amendment to the site plan to allow 2 of the small changes to be made, but the propane installation and the building expansion will be done at a later date, and we have told him that he must have a single site plan for the whole site for
So
that.
it will all come together for the last 2.
This is just the towers, right?
The cell phone tower and the parking lot for the Pepsi trucks.
And it's just one tower.
The tower is just one structure and the parking lot is basically just fill. And so we did it this way as a way of working with this investor to get things moving while he's waiting for his consultant to prepare the comprehensive site plan.
Okay.
Further discussion, if any? Hearing none, those in favor? Motion is carried unanimously, so it's got it's unanimous, so it can go to 3rd reading. Mr. Councilor Morel.
Okay, moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Barrett, that a bylaw to authorize an amendment to the site plan control agreement registered as instrument PR 95926 as authorized by bylaw 1988-34 be now read a 3rd time and finally passed, signed, sealed, and number 2018-68.
And so final reading, those in favor of final reading? Motion is carried, thank you. And so he can proceed. And now we're at bylaw number 11B, which is a site plan control agreement for Patton Node at 222 Joachim Road. Councilor Morel, that's yours as well.
I have that again. Okay, moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Barrett, that the mover be granted leave to introduce a bylaw to authorize the execution of a site plan control agreement, and this shall constitute first and second reading thereof.
And discussion, if any? And again, just for the sake of the folks in the gallery, if you just outline the purpose of this one, quickly.
Certainly, thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is a site plan control agreement to permit installation of a cell phone tower on private property at Yoakham's Road in the area of Smith Road, which is an area of poor coverage. This is very standard when we get an application for a cell phone tower, that we request the property owner to enter into a site plan control agreement so that we have some record of fencing, access, lighting, all that kind of good stuff.
Okay, thank you very much. Further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried. And it's carried unanimously. It can proceed to third reading.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Barrett, that the bylaw to authorize the execution of the site plan control agreement be now read a third time and finally passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 2018-69.
Voting on the third reading, those in favor? Motion is carried. And bylaw number 11C is the emergency overall responsible operator agreement for the Bennett Street well supply. Councilor Barrett.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Merle, that the mover be granted leave to introduce a bylaw to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the United Counties of Leeds and Grenville to perform third alternate overall responsible operator duties, and this shall constitute first and second reading thereof.
Thank you very much. And discussion, if any? Hearing none, those in favor? And so that's carried unanimously. It can proceed to third reading. Councilor Barrett.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Merle, that a bylaw to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the United Counties of Leeds and Grenville to perform third alternate overall responsible operator duties be now read a third time and finally passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 2018-70.
Okay, and I think the counties has already approved the agreement. It's coming back to us for final signature.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we did it at, I think, at the October 25th meeting. Okay, so all this does is we agree to act as a third alternative overall responsible operator in case we're required in an emergency. So those in favor of third reading? And that's carried as well, and so that bylaw can be executed. So now I'm at item 12 on the agenda. Item 12 on the agenda is the CAO's admin report. And we'll, I'm gonna let the CAO speak to the report, and we'll question as you go along or after.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, let's see. I think the council may have seen the fitness for duty policy at the Port Management Committee meeting. Just wanted to let you know that that is also in the works here. We've had it in front of our Joint Health and Safety Committee, and it is now in front of Labor Management, so we'll be coming forward soon. 7:30 truck stop property. We expect to hear from them very soon with respect to a site plan control amendment to allow them to build a new building closer to County Road 22. The upcoming meeting schedule is a bit fluid, shall we say? The current thinking now is that the two committee of the whole meetings for admin and finance and public works will be combined into one meeting on the 12th of November. There's not a great deal on the agenda for either one of those meetings. And that would free up the 19th to allow another new council orientation evening. And if we know that Councilor Barrett, who is the chair of the Public Works Committee, is probably pretty busy these days. So if council's okay with that, we'll go ahead and advertise that we will have one committee of the whole meeting. It will be on the 12th. Now, one of the reasons we selected the 12th was because that's the night of a public meeting for rezoning at Mr. Pombrio's property on County Road 2, so I will need quorum at the 6 o'clock public meeting as well.
Now, with regard to that, is it your intention then that we would hold two separate meetings on the 12th? First would be the public meeting for the rezoning. Then we would have the admin finance committee meeting, end it, and then start another one? Or just combine agendas?
Yeah, we'll just combine agendas as committee of the whole.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. Go ahead.
And then the other change that's happened since Friday when this was produced is that somebody dropped a writ. And so the federal election people have requested the use of the council chambers on November 26th as an advanced polling place. So if council is amenable to that, we would suggest that we move council to the 27th, which is the Tuesday.
Oh, so they're still wanting using it for the advanced poll
Yes,
on the 26th?
yes.
If you're willing, I am willing to, we don't really, that Recreation Advisory Committee, that we might as well cancel that for November as well, and let the new council start up in December with it. Maybe that date could be used for regular council.
So what date would that be?
That's pretty early in the month though.
Well, and it doesn't really give us time to turn things around from committee of the whole on Tuesday or on Monday.
Okay,
So we
so,
can take that off the list of things to do.
okay, so what we're saying, what you're saying is that we're moving the council meeting from the 26th to the 27th of November?
It's, yeah,
Okay, fair enough.
The election 2018, from an administrative standpoint, we had a very successful election. Overall voter turnout was 53%, which is pretty good for a municipal election. Of course, we'd always like to see more than that, but things went smoothly for the most part, and certainly the election staff worked very, very well. We had results even from the paper voting, I think by 9:40, which is a pretty good time for counting of 935 ballots up there.
So through you, Mr. Mayor, I want to commend staff for, again, so in 2014, when I was elected, I'm not gonna tell a big long story here, but my family, some of whom live in different municipalities, in one lower tier municipality, not in the United Counties, their results weren't available until after all of the results were in for, and this council was elected. And again, this time, notwithstanding municipalities who extended voting by a day, in the United Counties of Leeds and Grenville, the Township of Edwardsburg Cardinal had full election results done with a robust turnout before other municipalities had reported, many or any of their polls. And so it's really to the credit of, preparation and planning and working that plan that we're able to do that. And it gives people, I truly believe, a lot of confidence in the process that we have. It's very easy for people to become uneasy when you have situations where in other regions in Ontario, they use different companies and had mixed results, we'll say. So in concert with the service provider that the municipality engaged, and through the work of the CAO and her team, I think that every confidence can be had in the results of a very fair and timely election night result publication process. Ooh, that was a cumbersome term of phrase, but it really was great, and took a lot of the suspense. It sapped some of the suspense here, but like I said, there were this council was going to bed that night before the results were out in other municipalities within a 15-minute drive here. So, truly, hats off.
Now, I think that I should let the CAO explain. Of course, Rebecca was the returning officer, as I understand it. The official returning officer, but she was extremely well mentored, and so I think you should just tell us what your election experience is.
My election experience?
Yeah.
All 10 of them?
So that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah. So this was my 10th municipal election in Ontario. And Rebecca, who's never done a municipal election, just took this process and ran with it. She did an outstanding job of making sure we were well organized. I do want to commend the deputy clerk for making sure that was the case. And I know that was the case because we had first-time election folks from across the counties calling Rebecca for advice. It's like- and she's like, but I've never done this before either. But yeah, no, it was a good process. I was really happy.
Great job.
Well, 9:40 to have results is, speaks
Pretty
for
good.
itself.
Yes.
I had a conversation with the successful trustee for the Upper Canada School Board, didn't get the results until the next day
Yeah,
from North Grenville.
yeah.
Anyway, go ahead with your report, please.
Okay, thank you. There is a tax sale property coming up on November 7th. It's a vacant lot in Cardinal. That's always interesting. I think I recall telling council about the small claims court issue that we had with the taxpayer who felt that he didn't want to wait for the ARB process to make its way through things. And so he put a claim into small claims court. And the treasurer did attend at that, as we're required to do, and the plaintiff withdrew his claim after the judge explained to him that he didn't have a case, and that if he proceeded, that he could not only lose the case, but get assessed court costs as well, so.
So that just ended abruptly.
Yeah, and it's just annoying, because there is a process in place, and it just needs to, it does take time, and this one, I think, has until March of next year before it could potentially get settled, but it's to do with 2015 taxes, and if there's money due, we'll refund it. If there's not, well, then we don't. So,
And this is the case where we rejected the minutes of settlement.
yes, because MPAC had issued minutes of settlement that showed that the property value was zero.
Right.
Zero is not an acceptable answer. Other piece of good news is we got the assessment information for the new Giant Tiger facility, and I've got it in my report at just over 52 million, but we actually are just over 54 million, which is
Wow.
okay.
Wow,
So we'll see what that
I think
generates.
that's good news,
I
isn't
think
it?
it's a very good news. Wow, the arenas are super busy, you know, with all these extra games and hours of hockey being played. It's the staff is really working hard at both arenas. Just, if you can imagine, 60 kids at the initiation level, which is the little ones. And they come with mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, aunt, and uncle. So, I mean, the lobby is just jam-packed on Saturday mornings over here. Wonderful, but staff's working pretty hard to keep up. So.
Now, are the 3 hours that we added to the week in each of the arenas fully booked?
Mm-hmm, the morning hours are, yeah.
The morning hours.
Yeah, for sure. So. Doing some curbing and repairs in the two villages, that's underway. Water main break on October 15th, down at Joseph and George Street. Crews responded quickly, but they did end up working until about 3 a.m. to get it repaired. The Ingredion wash water for the non-GMO product that we've been working away on, we did a pilot on it, and it looks like that wastewater we're not gonna be able to accommodate it. The solids in it are just they're just way over the top for what our system can manage. Director of Operations and his environmental services staff are continuing to meet with Ingredion staff to try and find a way to help them out, but at this point, it looks like they're going to have to continue trucking that waste.
Okay, so, what does it mean when it says we're continuing to work with them? Are there, has the fact that we are not going to be able to treat that water, has that information percolated its way up to the top at Ingredion?
Well, I can't speak to that. Dave, maybe you have an answer to that, but I, as far as I know, we've been speaking with Richard, and I don't know whether he's sent it up the line.
My thought is that it has percolated up, that the hauling method that they're using just isn't going to work.
The which method?
The hauling method, like you trying to unload a tanker at our facility, just isn't going to work.
And so is the problem is it a question of not being able to treat it or not being able to accept it?
The issue is the concentration is too strong for us to effectively treat it.
Okay, so it's a question of concentration. So is one of the things, one of the metrics that our staff is looking at with their staff, is that to devise a mechanism to reduce the concentration? I mean.
We're open to options at this stage.
Okay, so, how long do you think it will be until we come to a definitive answer, either absolutely there's nothing we can do, or will we continue to examine different operational styles?
I'm not sure on a drop dead time where we would. At this stage, the ball is back in Ingredion's court, and we're waiting for information from them.
Okay, the reason I'm so interested in this, well, two reasons, is number one, it's a good source of revenue for our sewage treatment plant and for the residents that are responsible for the maintenance and operation of that system. So it would help them from the point of view of their costs. That's one of the reasons I'm intensely interested. The other reason, of course, is I hate to see that source of revenue going down the road someplace else. So, okay, I appreciate the update on it. Thanks very much, and I'll just ask the CAO to go ahead.
Sorry, just on that same topic, many moons ago, when we went through this whole process with 730 Truck Stop, there were small sample tests, I think, done to determine to make sure we didn't lose all our bugs. So how far into that process are we with, it's just small sample tests that we're using with them, right? Still with Ingredion? You didn't actually, did we actually put a whole truckload, or we passed the small sample point?
We actually ran a test with about a quarter of a tanker load to see what that result would be.
Without testing it first?
We've done some testing. We anticipated that there would be some increase, but the increase was higher than anticipated.
Okay, but none of we didn't lose the bugs or anything, we're still good?
No, and
That's my biggest fear is getting.
Unfortunately, when we're talking about 730 Truck Stop gray water versus this wash water, it's two different, totally different items. So.
Okay, I see where you're coming from. Councilor Morell.
Just thinking, I had this as a question mark too, but a lot of it's been covered. I can see the mayor's, concern and the likelihood of getting more revenue. But a bigger concern might be that we can't chlorinate or clean or filter the water or whatever the waste is as well as it should be, and therefore it can lead to bigger problems, which instead of being revenue might cause us substantial difficulties and costs, maybe fines for not, or whatever. I'm just saying, has there been any thought given? I don't know what has to be done. I'm assuming our plant, which serves the people, not necessarily an industrial company per se, with their needs. I think that it probably means that there's something more has to be added to the plant, or make the plant added to the plant, or bigger, or something like that. Or is there any way it can be done, or is there any kind of a, perhaps as a compromise, how do they put it? Ingredion contributes, if they want this to happen and we can't do it at the present facilities and we need some extra filters, whatever the case may be, is it just impossible, we can't do it with the way it presently stands, or is there a way that something could be added at big cost, which might cost all the residents, but maybe not the residents, just maybe Ingredion to come in and pay the shot to add to our facility. I'm throwing out a whole bunch of things, but I'm just thinking out loud here. I don't know whether I'm making sense or not. Did I make my sense?
Well, the thing is, it's a question of bacteriology, I think.
So through the chair, obviously our number one item that we have been focusing on is compliance.
Yep.
Yes.
Our compliance, okay?
Right.
With respect to some of those other options, yes, they may be available, but it's gonna take some time to explore and get enough background and trending that we can comfortably say whether it's something that we can pursue farther.
Okay.
So that's why, you know, the directors indicated that the ball is in their court, because the pilot project that we ran will have been sufficiently robust to indicate what the problems are, and it's up to their scientists to determine how they can adjust their input to satisfy our bacteriology requirements. So it's an ongoing project, and I understand that, so we'll just be patient for a little while, and see what, and, you know, I mean, of course, Councilor, just so you understand, if there's any additional costs required in either treating their material before they bring it to us or adjusting something in our plant, then that will be to their costs, and they understand that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, sorry, CAO.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Speaking of wastewater treatment, we did meet staff, the Director of Operations, the Treasurer, and myself met with the CAO Treasurer from the town of Prescott today to review the 2019 budget, as well as, you know, current state of affairs at the Prescott wastewater treatment plant. And we have sort of tentatively set November 22nd at 4:30 as potential date for the board to meet and review their 2019 budget. It is, again, a little later than what our agreement anticipated, but we're working through it. They did end up contracting with Aqua again to provide those services for their water and wastewater treatment plant. They did get a pretty favorable contract, so we'll see the costs go down a little bit there.
And we did, Council will recall, we determined not to bid because of the short time frame.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The Walker Street project is moving along at a somewhat better pace than we anticipated. And it's beginning to look like they might actually be finished to a point. Maybe the Director of Operations could expand on that a little bit.
Thank you, CO. Yes, if progress continues at the pace that it has over the last 3 to 4 weeks, potentially we have the opportunity to have all the underground completed and curbs in for the entire length and that first lift of asphalt prior to ceasing operations for the winter.
Just one question. Do we have the right within the contract to say to them, we'll forego that first lift of asphalt until warmer weather? Or are we gonna insist that they lay that first layer? Even, I mean, there's certain specs for temperature and moisture.
That is correct, and that is why it is subject to the weather that we get. Certainly, the base or first lift can be put down at a colder temperature, and that final lift naturally is going to have to wait till next season,
Ah, okay.
for sure.
Okay, all right. And then the landscaping, I mean, I'm getting, as you know, a number of calls from people about the landscaping, and, you know, I think most people recognize that that's gonna come last, but there is, I think I referred you to an issue with the sidewalk or something. So, go ahead then.
Thank you, Dave. The drainage is, you know, we have a couple items before us, but I did want to point out that the Mary Street outlet work has been now completed by the counties. I'm not sure if you're all aware of that, but they have essentially constructed a new drainage outlet system for the Mary Street project and completed that work. I have a photograph if anyone's interested. Looks lovely. Fire department, we have a new burn permit system, which I think you've been hearing all about, and we were gonna start it right now, but we came to understand that if someone came in now for a burn permit under this new system, they would have to then reapply in January, and we would have to, because we're assessed a fee per permit, we would have to pay twice. So we're just gonna have it go live on January 1st. And it does mean that we will not be able to issue 2019 burn permits until 2019, January 1st. I
Is there
think
gonna be a
that's,
cost to the residents now for burn permit?
no, not at this point, we don't have anything in our bylaws that would allow us to do that.
But is it going, what's the cost that we're paying for burn permit?
I can't remember, do you remember? It's minimal. Yeah,
I believe it's cents. per
yeah, it's
credit.
like pennies on burn permit.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
so now we're not talking dollars.
Oh, no, yeah,
We only, we're not issuing that many either, right? What did-
500.
Was it 500 last year?
Yeah.
I take it back.
Same system, it must be the owner of the property that applies? Okay, go ahead.
It's an online system though, so I don't know how we'll actually police that, but anyway. And actually, that's about all I have. Council has any questions with respect to any of that?
I'd just like to draw your attention to page 3 of 5. At the bottom of the page there, you talked a bit about the OCIF funding for the County Road 2 project. And we acknowledge that the application is complete, it's been submitted. You've had a contact from Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing. And so we know that we've been received. Now, the election's over, and I'm beginning to ask a lot of questions at the political level to see what we can do to actually lobby this application. Is the staff at MMAH, are they aware of the fact that we're about to start a lobbying effort? I don't want to start a lobbying effort at the political level without the staff being aware of it.
So the person I had contact with from the ministry was just our local municipal advisor, and I would say that she's probably expecting an effort.
I think they should be told outright, so that they're not caught off guard. I don't want to ambush anybody behind the scenes.
Sure.
I want them to know that when we go over their heads, it's because we're serious this time. I mean, we've proved our seriousness with our allocation on Walker Street. We need help on County Road 2, period.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other thing to note that, just on a side note, Mr. Mayor, if you remember, we used Sean Menard as a potential lobbyist for us on that County Road 2 application last time it was submitted, and he has now been elected to city council in Ottawa.
Oh, has he really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And they announced it on TV, I was like, oh, I know that guy.
Well, just on another note, which is off topic, of course, but you may also recall a certain individual by the name of what's Simon's first name?
Chappelle.
Simon Chappelle.
Yes.
You may also recall that he's left United Counties and was a very successful councillor in the city of Kingston,
Oh.
winning 49% of the vote in his ward.
Okay, yes, I can hear.
Yeah.
I saw it again.
Okay, so that's the CAO's report. Are there any other questions with the CAO's report? If not, I believe that Councilor Morell, you have the motion to accept the CAO's report.
Yes, I just had an excellent job again on the elections, and it was ironic, you said 53%. I read the paper, the Morrisville Leader, and I think they were like 53 point some more percent as well, voter turnout. So I thought, when I saw the CEOs, I said, they're both bang right on to adjoining municipalities. So anyway, well done, and I even watched it on the website and got the results. I could see it right there, and so with my illiteracy with technology, it was,
We've come a
I
long
actually
way.
understood it.
My
you know,
seatmate and
so-
I have come a long way in 4 years with technology.
Okay, so anyway, my congratulations as well. No, I have nothing else on the CEO's report, but I'd like to move and have it seconded by Councilor Barrett. The municipal council receives the CEO's administrative report as presented.
Thank you very much. Further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor? Motion is carried, thank you. And so now we're at the mayor's report. I just have a little brief report here. My apologies to the clerk, but there's a photocopy. You're going to get a photocopy.
Councilor Inquiries notice of motion.
Oh, sorry, I missed one. You're right. Item number 13, council inquiries and notices of motion. Anybody have anything to bring forward under item 13? Council inquires notice of the motion. Hearing none. Okay, now I'm at item number 14. So just a couple of things, just to let the existing council know. I've now met with all the members of the new council, and they're excited to take your seats. I don't know whether you like that or not. It's a transition, and what a wonderful country that we live in, where we can do things that way. So the other thing I wanted to mention, the United Counties of Leeds and Granville Economic Development Summit on Friday, November 16th, and I think both the old and new council would be interested in that. We've heard again from Mr. Lawson, the principal of BBL Energy Inc. We'll be meeting with him to get an update from him on sometime on, or it's actually Wednesday morning. He has not yet closed the deal for Prescott Machine and Welding, and we're really interested to know when they're going to be doing their environmental assessment, because I think we've referred them a number of consultants that are capable of doing the environmental assessment, and hasn't yet been done. So also, just a word that, and it was referred to in the CAO's report, the Environmental Review Tribunal that's reviewing the ED19 controversy will meet on Tuesday, November the 6th, Wednesday, November the 7th. Both meetings start at 10 o'clock at the City Hall in Brockville. Item number 5, I just want you to know that I'm following up with Union Gas, the extension and expansion project that we've been working on for quite some period of time. Really working hard to get natural gas into Spencerville here. There's some political stuff going on. The government of Ontario still hasn't decided exactly what kind of a regulatory regime that they're going to put into effect so that the gas companies can get their capital back. There are extensive conversations. The government itself, by the way, has introduced the enabling legislation, which will soon be passed by the Commons, the legislature, the Ontario legislature. But following passage of that enabling legislation, the regulations will be developed, and it's the regulations that are under heavy discussion at this point in time. So the next item I just wanted to mention again, Monday, November the 5th is the meeting of the CDC committee, where the second draft of the official plan will come forward. It's come to CDC once. There's been a number of issues raised. The consultant has gone back. He's addressed all of those issues, and those issues will now be embedded in this draft that comes forward, and then the responsibility of the CDC committee will be to decide whether it's in sufficient form to take it now to public comment. And so that's a very important meeting on November the 5th. And I just want to mention as well that our consultant that's developing our official plan has a very robust communications relationship with the county planner, Sherry Mills, and there's extensive conversations going on there. And the United Counties, at its meeting on October the 25th, approved the Elizabethtown-Kittley official plan. And that was the second official plan approved by the United Counties since they got that power from the provincial government. And again, the success in getting to approval of the Elizabethtown-Kittley official plan rested with the fact that there was extensive consultations between the consultant, which is the same as our consultant, and the United Counties Planning Department, so that when the final draft of the official plan gets to United Counties, they already know what's in it. They know all the nuances, and so it's turning out to be, I think, quite well, first of all, it brings the whole process locally. And secondly, it brings all of the communication at a local level. So we will possibly be, I think, the third official plan to go to the United Counties for approval, probably sometime in early 2019. The new council will get to make the final decisions on the plan. And last thing I want to mention is that on tomorrow night, October the 30th, is the South Grenville Chamber Awards Banquet, 6 o'clock at the Prescott Legion, if anybody's interested. I know there are tickets available. So that's my report, and I'm gonna call on Deputy Mayor Taylor to put forward the motion to accept the mayor's report.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Councilor Morale, that the municipal council receive the mayor's report as presented.
Thank you very much. Discussion, if any? Hearing none, those in favor? Motion is carried, thank you. And item number 15 is the question period. Questions from the audience, anyone? Connor?
No, not so much a question, but just more of a mention that maybe the digester at our farm may be an opportunity for that, the solids, if it was, you know, reduced in water, I guess, to put it, to make it efficient to truck from ingredient. What, just a question for the CEO?
Through the chair.
Yeah, yes. When was the last year that burn permits had a charge? Was that $15 up till a couple of years ago?
Through the chair.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. No, we've never charged for burn permit.
No, okay, thank you.
Any other questions, gentlemen?
I just maybe have one for you, the mayor, to the CEO, when these permits go online, yourself and I maybe aren't as online and literate as some people are. People that can apply online, are they still going to be able to come into the office and apply for those burn permits?
I would
Yes,
imagine.
yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor, yes, certainly still issued at the counter as well.
Yeah, there'll be issues, okay. And I think there's another, is there also an opportunity to speak, to do the same thing at the fire hall? Or will we do it here?
We do it here.
We'll do it here at the counter. Any other questions? Hearing none, I'm about to go on. Item number 16, we have no closed session this evening. Item number 17, the confirmatory bylaw, Councillor Barrett.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Morale, that the mover be granted leave to introduce a bylaw to adopt, confirm, and ratify matters dealt with by resolution, and this shall constitute first and second reading thereof.
Thank you very much. Discussion, if any? Hearing none, those in favor? So it receives unanimous approval, can proceed to third reading.
Moved by myself and seconded by Councilor Morale that a bylaw to adopt, confirm, and ratify matters dealt with by resolution be now read a third time and finally passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 2018-71.
Thank you very much. Those in favor, third reading? Motion is carried. Thank you. And so now looking for the motion to adjourn, Councillor Morel.
Moved by myself and seconded by Councilor Barrett that the municipal council is now adjourned at 7:29. That's PM.
You know, if you put that other minute in there, we would add an hour-long meeting.
I wanted to be exact.
Okay.
When I looked at I was
Those
looking
in
at
favor
that.
of the
looking at
motion,
this.
please signify. Motion is carried.
I was gonna ask for a recorded vote and vote against.